So about 2 years ago, I met an amazing couple who were fortunate enough to retire by 24, and I was lucky enough to sit down and have a conversation with them. And after a couple of meetings with them, they decided that they wanted to take me under their wing along with a couple of other people who had very high standards for their life. The mindset they instilled in me was absolutely life-changing. They also made it very clear that the skill set of learning for self-education through books is a very obsolete skill set nowadays. So they asked me, how many books did you read this year? So I came back at them and I said, well, I just started reading a couple of self-growth books, but really just one. On average, and I'm sure that you guys can take a look at your lives and the people around you and see just how many books they read per year, but the average number of books people read per year is 0 to 1. And they also taught me that wealthy people have big libraries while poor people have big TVs. I wonder why. So today I want to share with you guys 7 books that I read that absolutely altered my mindset and has opened up new opportunities that I did not see before. Let's start with Andrew Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. This book is amazing in that it teaches you more about other people and what exactly pleases them. By understanding this, you can converse with practically anybody and get them to like you. After I focused on applying the knowledge that I learned from this book, I quickly started to realize just how much people started cherishing our relationship simply just because I knew how to cherish our relationship. And dealing with people is a must as a human in one way or another. Understanding what they like and how they work will definitely give you a leg up, whether it's at work, with your friends, or in new relationships. Next up is Grit by Angela Duckworth. One of my subscribers reached out and said that they had bought the book right after I had talked about it in one of my previous videos, and I'm just gonna tell you right now, bro, you're about to learn what it takes to get whatever you want in life. Angela Duckworth is an absolutely brilliant psychologist. She went to Harvard and Oxford, just in case you were wondering how smart she was. Angela does an amazing job at analyzing and breaking down the true meaning of grit through examples of her own studies throughout the years. In short, she basically explains how powerful grit is and that it will trump natural talent any day. But not many people score very high on her grit test. This book really ingrained in my head the importance of grit when you are trying to go out and get whatever you want. But luckily for me on my weight loss journey, when I was losing 110 pounds, I had enough burning desire that the grit that I had through that time was sufficient enough. To be honest, if you do not have a burning desire to get what you truly want, then you're not gonna have the grit to go through all those hard times that it takes to actually get what you want. And the third book that I recommend that you check out, this one is absolutely huge and I'm still reading it, but it is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Like I said, I'm still reading this book, but even halfway through the book, I can still see into his mind to see how Napoleon Hill thinks, and it is absolutely insane. If you want to accumulate any amount of riches or happiness, then Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich is the perfect book for you. In this book, Napoleon explains the power of the mind, and he explains just how your brain is a radio transmitter that transmits the frequencies of what it thinks and attracts the success when you think about success correctly. He also breaks down the steps and actions that you need to take and understand in order to accumulate any sort of wealth or success. Oh, and by the way, the famous Andrew Carnegie, who has created more millionaires than any other man who's lived on this planet, yeah, that's his personal mentor. And fourth on this book list is going to be The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I've used a lot of teachings that Eckhart Tolle explains from his book in my previous videos, so you probably already know that I've talked about this book before, but I just love the way that this guy thinks because he comes from a point of view of spirituality rather than logic or emotion. And if you guys know anything about me, my philosophy in life is that every person should focus and develop the 3 parts that make them a person: their mind, their body, and their spirit. The book, The Power of Now, very well describes just how powerful the present moment is and just how easily every single one of us can fall into a zombie-like state when we're always constantly living in either the future or the past. So the next time you find yourself in any emotional state, just remember that that is a byproduct of not being fully present. Tolle also goes very deep in the concept of explaining how to control one's own mind so that you can control the state of being happy or being contempt. Book number 5, and this one's for you guys who struggle with finding yourself as a true man. The Way of the Superior Man by David Dieta is an absolutely excellent read as it goes deep into the state of man's true nature. By understanding one's true nature and also the nature of women, one can start to focus on taking the right actionable steps to see more success as a man, rather than continuing to make the same mistakes over and over again as so many guys in society love to do. Dieta does a very good job at explaining the difference in the masculine and feminine essence and how those come together to create sexual polarity. By understanding better this polarity, I was able to find the essence within myself as well as feel the essence of those around me. And now I can also clearly see the amount of feminine essence coming from the guys nowadays, which is also a direct factor in the rise of masculine essence from women nowadays. The Compound Effect by Darren J. Hardy. This was an amazing read. Basically, Hardy goes over the effect that happens when you take small good habits over a long period of time, which ends up giving you a lot bigger of a benefit because of consistency and compounding. The rewards of small, consistent actions over a long period of time has a much bigger effect than intensely large changes that do not last. I mean, look at weight loss, for example. So long as you are dieting and working out properly, all it takes is the longevity to see the results you truly want. I recommend both the Compound Effect and Grit simply because they are direct factors of success that you can apply this knowledge literally immediately. But you do have to understand these concepts in order to apply them correctly. This last book really flipped my mind when it comes to the idea of doing exactly what it takes to be successful. The Go-Giver by Bob Burg and John Mann. Now this is a book that was written through an amazing story of a guy who is a go-getter. He wants more out of life and he's a hustler and he's willing to do whatever it takes to get what he wants. And then he simply cannot get what he wants because he's taking the wrong approach. Through this amazing story, you are going to learn just how powerful the law of reciprocity is by giving without expectation, which in turn gives you more than what you originally wanted. I have read a ton of books and I'm so thankful to have been able to come across these books and read them and learn from them because I've been able to see firsthand just how powerful books really are. So I definitely recommend that you guys check out these 7 books because these are the ones that stood out most to me. If you are not reading books, definitely find a book that you can pick up and read that is a self-growth book, not just a Harry Potter or some other book that's not going to benefit you or the world in absolutely any way. Small actionable steps over a long period of time. Let's say you read 10 to 15 pages a day for 2 or 3 years. You are going to have such a powerful mind. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. And I really do hope that you guys take something away from one of these books because for me, these books were absolutely mind-altering. But as always, whatever you choose, keep going, keep hustling, keep going hard, and make sure that you are growing as a man. As always, have a fantastic rest of your day. Peace.